Welcome to the Library Love Fest podcast. I'm Virginia Stanley.
I'm Lainey Mays.
We are the library marketing team at HarperCollins Publishers.
Join us every week as we present buzzworthy books through author interviews, conversations with editors, and expert opinions from librarians like you.
Enjoy the show.
Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Check it out. Do-do-do, Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Brought to you by Library Love Fest.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Library Love Fest podcast. This is Lainey, and I'm joined by
Virginia. Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
Happy to be here.
So we are very excited because we have another Library Reads episode for you. We're on a hot streak, if we do say so ourselves. We're very excited to come back with 3 books this month to tell you about. But before we do, Virginia, do you want to tell the listeners who may not know about Library Reads or give them a little refresher on what it is?
Happy to do that, Lainey. So for the 3 people out there who don't know about Library Reads, it is a nationwide library staff's pick list for adult fiction and nonfiction. So every month, librarians across the country vote for their favorite books that are about to come out. And they have to vote for it. They have to cast their votes the first day of the month prior to the book's publication. So we always get super giddy about this when we get the email that says that we have books on the list. I mean, if we have 1 book on the list, we're thrilled since there are only 10. But it's a big deal because they only list 10 books, and so whenever we get a title on this list, even 1 title, we are thrilled. So you can imagine our giddiness when we find out that we have more than 1, which we have this month. And then there's the Hall of Fame list. So if an author makes the list twice, they are no longer eligible to make the top 10 list, but they are forever eligible to make the Hall of Fame list, which I think is a really cool thing, because it keeps the list fresh. Otherwise, you're just going to keep seeing, the same. You could potentially see the same juggernaut authors, and you want to give everybody a shot. So I think that's a very cool position that Library Reads took. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, very good point. Gotta keep it fresh. And we only have 10 books a month, and we have 2 of them this month. So very excited to announce that BABEL by R.F. Kuang and The Couple at Number 9 by Claire Douglas have both made the August Library Reads list.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Oh my goodness. So much love for these 2 books. We just got back from ALA, and people were constantly asking about these 2 books. They're asking about a lot of books, but these were particularly of interest to many. So really excited to see these on the list.
Yeah. And BABEL, we had so many people stopping by to ask. And previously, the Library Read selection, she made it for The Burning God in November of 2020. So this is her 2nd placement. And know what that means? Next time, it will be eligible for the Hall of Fame. So keep that in mind.
There should be like a Hall of Fame theme song.
How do you think it would go?
But that's how I think everything should go. Like if I wake up in the morning, I think that's a good song to sing.
I love it. We will submit that to Library Reads. Done. So that's very exciting, and everyone is a big fan, and we are so excited that both of these books, BABEL and The Couple at Number 9, have made the list. Then additionally, speaking of Hall of Fame, we have a multi Hall of Famer. This is the 2nd Hall of Fame placement for Ilona Andrews for Ruby Fever.
Woohoo! Yes.
Woo!
Very cool. Very cool.
Yes. Previously, Ilona Andrews, which is a husband-wife writing duo, they got in the Hall of Fame for Emerald Blaze in August 2020. And then before that, Sapphire Flames, August 2019, and White Hot, May 2017.
Yeah, they're an amazing writing team. And their fans are, well, I don't want to say rabid, but they're rabid.
Yeah. The covers are always really cool.
Yeah.
So this is the treat portion of the podcast because we have some audio clips from our authors, and R.F. Kuang, or Rebecca, that Rebecca sends so many thanks, so excited to be on this list. And I have to tell you, she and her editor did an amazing podcast interview that went up last week for BABEL. And I thought it was really cool. She was asking David Pomerica, who is her editor, that she was asking David questions about her journey and what he thought. And I thought it was a really cool interview. So if you want to dive deep into that book, BABEL, go listen to that.
I love that interview, Lainey. That was so interesting and eye-opening. And what a, I don't know, it's just kind of a cool peek into the relationship between author and editor. And I just felt like they were two people hanging out and having a chat. And we were just, I don't know, standby listeners. Just, I just really loved their conversation and the different twists and turns that their conversation took. And you learned a lot about their relationship. They go back a way, and just the journey that they've taken together in the writing of those books. It's a really cool interview.
Yeah. I thought it was super fun. I appreciate Rebecca and David taking the time to sit down and do that interview with us, because I know our librarians were very excited, as is seen by all the people asking for BABEL ARCs.
Yeah.
So let's get into some audios. So we have an audio from Claire Douglas, the author of The Couple at Number 9.
Hi, Library Love Fest podcast. This is Claire Douglas, and I want to say that I'm so delighted and so thrilled to hear that The Couple at Number 9 is a Library Reads pick for the month. I can't express enough how much libraries mean to me, and I grew up with my mum taking me to one every week. I was so enthralled with all those high bookshelves filled with books, and I would happily sit in the children's sections for hours deciding which ones I could borrow that week. I still find them to be such calm and relaxing places, and to think that librarians up and down the country have picked The Couple at Number 9 is such a lovely feeling, and I'm so grateful. The Couple at Number 9 is a special book for me, partly because I wrote it in lockdown, and it was a great way to escape how scary the world was then, but also because it's about dementia. After losing 3 amazing family members, all women, to this disease, it is a subject that is close to my heart. The book is about a young couple, Safi and Tom, that inherit a cottage from Safi's grandmother Rose, because Rose is in a nursing home with dementia. When Safi and Tom decide to renovate their cottage, they find the 2 bodies buried in the garden, dating back to when Rose lived there with her lodger Daphne. When Safi visits Rose in the care home, she has to sift through all of Rose's fragmented memories to try to get to the truth of what really happened all those years ago. Thank you so much for picking The Couple at Number 9 and all the wonderful work of libraries and librarians. It means the world. And thank you so much to the podcast for having me on. Goodbye.
Oh my God.
I know.
How sweet. How lovely, right?
Yeah. No, lovely thoughts on libraries. And, people who grow up in libraries, that's always just such a formative experience. And so I always like to hear the experience of growing up in libraries and staying there in the stacks all day. It makes me think of when I did that too. I don't know, it's very sweet.
Me too. Same. Yeah, I know. Brings you right back. I think it's so interesting when we ask authors to talk about libraries or just in general, and it's the same thing. It's that same theme over and over again. That they were kids, that they were brought there by their parents, left there, the parents were with them, and they just went to town. And they almost always talk about when they graduate from the kids section to the adult section. That's like a passage, for them into adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really neat. And I think because you and I have that same experience from when we were kids, that it just resonates.
Yeah, you're so right. Like most people do say, like, it was childcare. Like the parents felt so safe there. They always feel safe dropping their kid off at the library.
Right. My mother worked in a library at a school, so she would bring back books for me all the time, read to us all the time. And whenever they did a weeding, she would bring those books home. And I still have them. It's amazing. Encyclopedia Brown. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the best books. And, parents that do that, I don't even know if they know what they're doing. Well, they do now. I don't know if my mother knew back then what she was doing, but here we are in publishing,
Yeah.
getting as close as we can to books and libraries. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I have a feeling they knew the importance of getting a book in your hand. Maybe not that you would end up in publishing, but the importance of getting the book in your hand.
Yep.
I love it. All righty. Shall we listen to an audio from Ilona Andrews?
We shall. Here we go.
Hello, this is Gordon and Ilona Andrews.
It's an honor to once again see our work in the Library Reads Hall of Fame. When we just started dating in college, we couldn't afford to buy the books we wanted to read. Instead, we went to our local public library, the Jackson County Library in Sylvan, North Carolina.
Without that library, we would not be the authors we are today. Thank you so much. It means a great deal to us both.
Nice.
Very sweet. I love that it's about what they do together too. They went to the library.
And when they started dating in college. How sweet is that?
Yeah. Oh, these things, I love doing this episode. It's so sweet to hear what authors have to say and be able to respond to making the list. Because a lot of the times, like, I got on this roundup where I got an award, and it's like, okay, but what's your response? How did you find out? And I love being able to let people in on that.
Yeah. Well, that was your idea, and it was an awesome one because you're right. I mean, a lot of books do make those roundups, or best of summer, or best of the year, and blah, 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 blah. And it can become wallpaper after a while, likely not to the authors, but to everybody else. But then to hear, especially for libraries, because going back to what we were just talking about, I mean, this is something that's inherently in their DNA, I want to say. I mean, it's just part of who they are. And so it's more than just being added to a list. It's so much more than that. It's librarians selecting their book out of all the books that are coming out that month. Their book is the one that they think should be on this list. So what does that mean to them? What does that say to them? Oh my God, these people who are the keepers of the flame. I know that phrase gets tossed around a lot, but it's true. And they've known librarians since they were children. And now here they are selecting their book. That's got to be quite the mind blower for them. So these recordings are so heartfelt. They're not just, they don't have to do it if they don't want to, if they can't do it, but they're either writing in their thanks, recording their thanks. I mean, it's lovely. They all do it. And it says everything about the fact that they do it.
I have tingles. I have chills.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you for listening. If you're listening to the podcast and you don't get our newsletter, we send a newsletter out exactly at 10 when this list comes out every month. So make sure you subscribe. You can go to librarylovefest.com for more information on that. And thank you for listening. Hope to see you again for the September Library Reads list. And get your votes in.
Get your votes in. Get your votes in. And hope we'll be back to share some more good news about our great authors and our great books. And so much fun. All right. Well, good to hang with y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Library Love Fest podcast. For more information on this week's episode, go to librarylovefest.com. Enjoying the show? We would love to hear what you think. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Library Love Fest and on Instagram at Harper Library. Be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and share the show with a friend. See you next week.